Hey, it's Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show. Most people know me as the foul-mouthed shock jock from the Classic Metal Show, or the no-nonsense heavy metal critic from pitriff.com. Now you get to learn the other side. My first book, Little Victories, A Tale of Divorce, Debauchery, and Finding Happiness, comes out on January 13th in paperback and digital formats on Amazon and iTunes. It details my real-world emotional struggles over a year that included a divorce after a quarter-century of marriage and the death of my father. It profiles things I did right, as well as a bevy of things that I did wrong with the help of alcohol, and how I found my way out of the muck of the emotional state that almost saw me commit suicide. Pre-order your copy of Little Victories, A Tale of Divorce, Debauchery, and Finding Happiness today at www.chrisaikenbooks.com and get in touch with the more fallible side of me, Chris Aiken. Sounds happy, huh? And it is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. That was an easily recognizable band. That, of course, was Slaughter with my favorite tune they ever did from The Wildlife. That one's called Do You Know? And on the phone is the only guy that probably does know. It's Mark Slaughter. Mark, how are you, man?
Doing great, Chris. How are you?
Good, dude. Well, Mark, gotta say, man, it's been a long time, man. Where you been?
Well, we've been doing, Slaughter dates. We're still doing about 40 shows a year, and still that's even happening this year as well. But it only goes to specific markets. So there's a lot of places that people don't even know we're still out there doing it.
Sure. Now, is it difficult at this point to keep the band alive and to keep going? Not so much because of fan interest, but, because, like, I know yourself and I know Dana and the other guys all have different commitments now. So is it tough to still put Slaughter back together to get out there and play shows?
It's real easy, actually, and it worked out just fine. I mean, the bottom line is this is what we do. This is what we continuously, this is what we do, and we love doing it. And it's just a different thing. I mean, where we were on a tour bus years ago, now we're not doing a tour bus hardly ever. I mean, we just don't do it anymore because it doesn't make sense. It's easier just to fly to a show, do it, and you're back home with your family after that.
Sure.
So it's just a different model.
Definitely. Now you're getting ready, or by the time people are hearing this, you'll actually be out on the cruise ship on the Monsters of Rock cruise. How is that gig different for you from normal gigs, other than the obvious you're out on a boat? Because it just seems like there's so much more interaction with fans than probably any gig that you would ever get to play.
Yeah, probably. And the other thing is we're coming out of doing a show out in Iowa, and then we fly through Atlanta that day that we board the ship, fly to Miami, get on the ship, get acclimated, and then we do a show like at 12:45 in the morning. So, that's I think the strangest part of that is that, all of a sudden we're, on a boat doing another show when we just did one in Iowa the night before. Those are the crazy things. As far as it being difficult, no, and being around the fans, we've been a fan-oriented band from the very beginning. So, this is a thing we naturally do anyway.
Sure. Do you like playing these kind of gigs versus, playing gigs around the country?
Well, I think it's, honestly, the boat thing is just one thing that you do a show. We're doing actually 2 shows on the boat, but, ultimately it's probably better in my mind just to go and do a show, wherever it might be, as opposed to doing it on the boat, because you're still stuck on the boat. You can't really go anywhere. You're looking out and just seeing water the whole time. I mean, it's okay. And it's, I know a lot of people like to do that type of stuff. It is nice to just be able to go and see other parts of the country more so than just a bunch of water. You know what I mean?
Right. Definitely, man. Well, Mark, we could talk Slaughter stuff all day, but the emphasis for you right now is the fact that you, for the first time, I think, in your career, have done like something completely solo with a brand new single. Talk a little bit about the single, why you decided to do something on your own at this point, and, how the single came to be.
Well, it is, the song itself was written about people who face adversity. There's a lot of these soldiers, for instance, that, have gone out to to defend our country and represent. And, they come back and they're either dealt with, some physical issues, mental issues, or other things that they have. And our whole idea with the Red Circle Foundation was the gap funding where, it was Brandon Webb's idea that where people have dropped the ball, meaning the government dropped the ball in assistance for these people. Even if like a mother was in Afghanistan and her daughter wants to do ballet lessons, well, they turn around and just, even as simple as that, they pay for the ballet lessons. So the daughter's still getting the things that she would, do if the mother was there.
Okay.
And it also makes it to where, burials or, other stuff like that are taken care of sooner than the government, as opposed to somebody, being in another country for a month while the family grieves until their child comes home, so to speak, because a lot of these are young soldiers. So that's kind of what the Red Circle Foundation is about, and I'm, part of the proceeds of this goes to the Red Circle Foundation, and we're going to really try to, make a difference. So I think that's really where it is in music right now, is I wanted to do something that was, meaningful and had a lot of heart to it, and again, keeping it with the same type of production value as what people would expect. It's not a demo. It's not a demo song that I threw out there. It's an actual full-blown recording done properly.
Sure. And now talk real quick with Red Circle. How did you get involved personally? Did you have somebody that was affected this way in your life, or was it just a cause that you felt strongly about?
It's a cause I feel strongly about. I was looking at several other things, and I'm still into St. Jude very heavily. I love St. Jude as a charity. They do wonderful work. But this is just something where 100% of all the funding actually goes to those soldiers. And, it's one of those things that it's been such an ongoing thing during my whole career with Slaughter, that we've been in some type of a military action from the Gulf War forward, that these people are still, being deployed every moment. So, it's just a way of giving back to those people and letting them know that, they are not forgotten, and I care, and everybody else cares, and we stand behind them, and we stand behind, again, all of those who face adversity, even if somebody who's fighting for cancer or whatever it might be, that's what this song basically is heartfelt and about.
Sure. Now with it, I understand you played the bass and the guitars as well as singing. That's obviously a different. Not that you haven't been around that in the studio, but I mean, that's certainly a different discipline for you to actually take up in the studio, at least, and then release that type of music. How was that for you?
Well, it's not a band. It's not a band thing. The drummer on the project, his name is Mark Gooden. We were in rival bands when I was in high school, and I always thought he was a phenomenal drummer, and we reconnected and started talking about, making music, and, that was a natural thing, the course of events there. But it's as far as playing all the other parts and doing it all myself, I recorded it all myself, and then I've got legendary producer, engineer Michael Wagner to mix it. And I went up to his place, we mixed the track, and so hands-on, the vision stayed through the whole thing. And, luckily, Dana and I were able to have that vision with Slaughter, that we were able to see our thoughts and, what we wanted our music to be in Slaughter all the way through. So, there's not a big label, there's not a bunch of people telling me how to do things, and the same thing with Slaughter. We always had that freedom. So this is the freedom I had to go do what I wanted to do. I didn't have anybody to answer to, and I just wanted to put it out there,
Sure. Can people expect more to be coming? Maybe a solo album or an EP or another Slaughter record or what?
Well, I've got a whole number of songs that are in the can that are recorded as well. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with it. To be honest with you, I just kind of focused on a single and just wanted to do some good with that and get that out there. And as far as a solo record, I think it's really one of those things of, approaching it as it comes, as far as a Slaughter record, approaching it as it comes. We've all got so many things going on. Slaughter's got all these shows this summer. There's no way we could do it this summer, but, And, you know, also my guys play with Vince Neil.
Sure.
You know, so when they're doing that, again, I'll still be working on music. So it's hard to tell what I'll put out. But, again, it's more about just keeping the music going, you know?
Definitely. Well, let me ask you one that's topical only because you worked with this guy. And no, I'm not looking to start anything. I'm just going to ask, do you have any opinion about your old bandmate Vinnie Vincent either being included or not being included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing with Kiss?
Well, I mean, that's obviously up to Gene and Paul what they're going to do with, Vinnie. I think he was kind of, one of the stepping stones in the guitar players. Certainly his writing abilities were instrumental with Kiss. But as far as like the long ongoing, I mean, Tommy Thayer's been a guitar player a lot longer than Vinnie Vincent ever was.
Sure.
So, I mean, so if you're looking in the pure numbers of what's going on, it's really, that doesn't add up.
Right.
So as far as what I think Kiss should do, in my opinion, I think that they should get everybody who's still alive, that's been in Kiss together, go up there, do the new Kiss that everybody's watching and seeing, and then also let some of the older, players go up and do what they need to do with the band too. But that's the fan in me of what those guys have done over the years. That's what I'd like to see, though.
Sure. Well, Mark, right now what people can see from you is this brand new single. It's called Never Get Given Up. We're going to play it here in a second. But before we do, where can people go online to, A, get the single, and B, find out more about what you're doing in the future?
Well, as far as for the single, it's released on iTunes, Amazon, as well as Google Play. It's available all the online, distribution centers that's out there. As far as to get a hold of me, I have a Mark Slaughter official Facebook. I also just launched a new website for Slaughter that I don't even know if it's up today or if it's going to be up tomorrow. It's slaughterusa.com.
Okay.
So that'll be the new Slaughter website. So, it's all, I think the whole thing is let's just get the music out there, and people who love this, it's still available. And, again, we're blessed to be able to do it this many years later, and we're very thankful. And, and I'm just hoping that the power of music changes lives. That's ultimately for all of us. That's what we love to do.
Excellent. Well, let's check it out right now. This is the brand new single. It's Mark Slaughter with Never Given Up right here on your Classic